Hello everyone and welcome to the Farmer Files. My name is Rhiannon Lewis and our topic for today is paranormal activity. This video goes along with Derek's article on the Farmer Files website and we'll be discussing the 4 scientific theories presented in that article. Each theory attempts to explain or explain away paranormal activity. These 4 theories are electromagnetic interference with brain waves, parallel or altered dimensions crossing over, ripples in the time-space mesh causing the past to collide with the present, called the time slip phenomenon, and finally, toxic mold causing neurological damage resulting in hallucinations. Theory 1. Electromagnetic interference. Because there are numerous interpretations of this theory, 2 articles from Mysterious Universe will be used as a basis for our discussion. In the original article, the author postulates that increases in solar activity will produce more reports of paranormal activity. Both unpredictable corona mass ejection events, CME, and predictable cycles of increased solar activity are considered to be of note. According to the article, ghostly phenomenon is the projection of electromagnetic patterns acting on the limbic system, causing false perceptions of the external world. Unquote. It should also be noted that the author also uses this and other theories to explain away spiritual phenomenon and the existence of God, demons, angels, etc. as well. Presented as evidence for this theory is a series of experiments from the 1980s performed by Michael Persinger, known as the God Helmet experiments. The so-called God Helmet was a simple motorcycle helmet outfitted with numerous electrodes. These electrodes would project a mild but complex array of electromagnetic waves into the test subject and produced a variety of effects. The helmet earned its God Helmet nickname due to the tendency of subjects to report feeling an unseen presence. Subjects also commonly reported seeing aurora-like lights or angels and hearing a variety of sounds such as whispers, buzzing, or singing. Others, however, simply reported feeling dizzy or somewhat nauseous. The second article by the anonymous author expands on the theory presented in the first, using newer technologies as evidence for the aforementioned theory, including MRIs, TES, and TACS technology. All 3 of these technologies involve directing massive amounts of magnetic energy at the subject, and all 3 have been well documented to have physiological effects. MRIs, magnetic resonance imaging, which is perhaps the most commonly known technology listed here, has been shown by many sources outside this article in question to have harsh side effects as a result of the intense energy penetrating the subject's body, leaving some in immense pain afterwards. TES and TACS, respectively, are specialized to affect the brain itself. TES, transcranial electrical stimulation, is a neuromodulator technology that employs low-voltage currents transmitted through electrodes that are attached directly to the patient's scalp. Its aim is to change or modulate the behavior of the brain. It is a highly versatile technology and is being used in experimental treatments for Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, multiple sclerosis, and other diseases that affect or originate in the neurological system. It is also being researched by the military, supposedly as a method to treat PTSD. As pointed out by the author of the article in question, will paranormal activity increase with solar activity? The test has also been proven to be capable of turning off or on isolated regions of the brain. TACS is a far more invasive method than either of these, involving electrodes that are inserted directly into the patient's brain, but the basic technology and use is the same. These 2 technologies have been used to induce lucid dreaming in test subjects, indicating that the use of low-voltage alternating currents can directly affect the subconscious. The author uses these studies as proof of concept, laying a foundation for the plausibility of his or her theory. Also used as proof of concept is the fatal effect solar flares and coronal mass ejections have on satellites and other electronic systems, systems which scientists claim are highly comparable to the neuroelectric systems found in the human brain. Credit must be given to the author of this article for identifying one of the major problems with this theory. As stated in the article, quote, transcranial electrical stimulation, whether direct current or alternating, requires that the source of the signals be highly regulated and that they originate from a device placed directly against the skull in a location that is relative to the region to be affected. The limitations of signal penetration are what stand in the way, unquote. While the sun produces an amount of energy many times greater than that produced by MRE, TESS, or TACS systems, the sun is also much farther away, effectively diluting the energy that ultimately reach individuals. Further diluting these waves is the magnetosphere, which disrupts these waves, as well as deadly gamma rays, among others, heavily. The aurora borealis is a visual effect of this shield around the Earth in action. The author also grants that if this theory proved true, it still would not explain away all paranormal phenomenon. Another aspect, however, which the author did not cover, is the time and location paranormal activity generally occurs. If the theory was to hold true, the majority of paranormal activity would occur when and where individuals are most exposed to these rays the most. This would be primarily at the North and South Poles, where the protective magnetosphere is the thinnest, as shown in the illustration on screen from NASA. It would also occur the most during the daytime, as that is when that particular area on Earth is facing the sun. Alaska, which of course is the northernmost part of the United States, does have an incredibly high number of strange phenomenon. However, there are no official statistics to reference to as to whether it's higher than, say, somewhere near the equator. In addition, paranormal phenomenon in Alaska and around the world share one similarity. They occur most often at night. That means paranormal activity occurs on the side of the Earth that is not facing the sun, thus receiving the least rays the majority of the time. It would seem that this fact alone could completely disprove this theory. Derek's article uses the Loveland Castle as an example of paranormal activity, given his family has first-hand experience with the phenomena occurring there. We will discuss Loveland Castle in depth in the next episode, but here we will test each theory presented against the phenomena reported there. That being said, does our first theory adequately explain the phenomena of the Loveland Castle? Electric shocks of individuals in the castle have been reported by many, according to the castle's official website. Theoretically speaking, given the effect MRI scans have reportedly had, including patients feeling electrical burning and tingling, this phenomenon could be caused by electromagnetic interference. Even more theoretically, it is entirely possible that the stones the castle is made from, being gathered from the Little Miami River, have piezoelectric properties. If these stones have piezoelectric properties, the electromagnetic waves from the sun would be amplified within the castle. If the waves behave in the way theorized, this would make the castle a hotbed for unseen presences, as well as visual and auditory hallucinations. In a way, it would be like a paranormal oven. Nevertheless, this would not explain some of the other phenomenon reported in the castle, such as objects mysteriously going missing and appearing again in impossible locations, or objects being thrown across the room, both of which are commonly reported occurrences in the Loveland Castle. As always, we ask that you form your own educated opinion regarding the veracity of this theory. In the purely theoretical manner, this theory is plausible to explain the Loveland Castle incidents. However, there are simply too many ifs in the scenario for me personally. In addition, the theory faces several obstacles that seem to be unsurmountable. Theory 2. That being said, let us look at the second theory presented, the bleed over of two alter or parallel dimensions. This is a pet peeve on my part. Personally, I do not care for using the phrase parallel dimensions in this kind of context, as it is a bit of an oxymoron. Parallel implies that not only do the dimensions not converge, but that they are completely incapable of merging. For that reason, I will be using the term alter dimension where applicable. Whereas Theory 1 had a large amount of indirect evidence, or proof of concept, this theory has no physical evidence to support it. It is merely a theory in physics. Nonetheless, it is a highly popular theory among notable physicists, including the late Stephen Hawking. The theory has numerous interpretations. A select few state that paranormal activity is the result of one altered dimension becoming momentarily visible to the current dimension. Similar to looking through a television set, one cannot interact with the vision, only watch, nor is the individual in the altered dimension able to see the viewer, although they may feel as though they are being watched by an unseen presence.